Okay, we're live.
Okay, everyone, please turn your microphones on. Okay, we are live. We are streaming on YouTube. Ms. Matias, you may proceed with the review session.
Good morning. Madam Chair.
The microphone is on, Ms. Matias.
Mine's on.
Okay.
Everybody
I
can
don't know
hear.
why is the volume. I don't know how to turn the volume off. I can turn the volume here.
Click mute.
This is the lowest I can turn.
Yeah.
Okay,
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, your microphone's on? Yes, it is. Okay. Good morning. This is the New York City Board of Standards and Appeals Review Session for July 29th, 2024. For the record, Commissioner Sheta is joining us remotely. This is a review session. No public testimony is permitted during the review session. Shall I go on or do you need? Oh,
Just give me one second. I don't know
okay.
why.
You?
Yeah, in the echo.
Who's echoing?
Yeah, volume is on.
My camera was on. What?
No, the camera's on. I have
My
it.
camera's on.
I have it. I have it here.
But it's not showing me, but on here it says it's on.
I see her on my screen.
You hear me?
Have audio connect.
Yeah, thank you. Got it.
Good morning, everyone.
Thank you, Commissioner Chair.
Sarah,
Oh,
I
that
can
did-
see you. I can-
You gotta change, rename your name.
You.
That's what happened to me too.
The Dara.
Wait, Dara is twice. Okay.
This Dara.
We're all Dara.
Yeah, that's really funny.
Okay, are
It's
we
just Fight Club.
good? Okay, once again, this is the Board of Standards and Appeals Public Review Session for July 29th, 2024. Sorry for the little glitch there. The first item up is adjournments. Item number 16008 BZ, Volume 2, 651, 671 Fountain Avenue, Brooklyn. Item number 2, 2022-23 BZ, 1520 East 56th Street, Brooklyn.
Okay, this will be the third adjournment. I do recognize that Jerry Caliendo's office was recently retained to represent the property owner. And since then, the applicant is trying to identify the changes that would need to be made. They made a submission, but they did ask for deferment because, adjournment because they wanted to review the documents and the regulations more carefully. Go ahead.
Item number 3, 2022-96 BZ, 2014-4249 BZ, 2420 Amsterdam Avenue, Manhattan. Decision items, item number 4, 31953 BZ, volume 3, 1135 East 222nd Street, the Bronx.
Okay, applicant submitted its material at 1 a.m. this morning. I do not expect my commissioners to be awake at that time of the night to be reviewing the documents. And I think it would be unfair to expect us to review it in such a short period of time for a project that has been so problematic and we really need the time to review it thoroughly. So I'm going to.
Sorry, we
suggest
can't
that
hear you.
I can call it tomorrow, Tuesday.
Share,
After all the
share,
hearings are
share,
done, this will
share,
give all of
share.
us the time to review the documents submitted.
I don't hear.
Oh, it's off. I am echoing. This is, yeah, this is all off.
Is it just Shamba that's echoing? Sorry, Chair.
Is everybody like?
Everyone's echoing.
Yeah, it's totally down and it's been put into.
I turn this down and I turn that down. Maybe we just disconnect. from the-
Testing.
Let me just see if I can, are you on Zoom? You're not on Zoom.
I'm on Zoom here and we changed it to audio.
Okay, it's better.
Are we good?
Oh, now you sound much better. I don't hear the echo anymore.
Okay.
Is it better now?
Much better.
Can
Can someone
anyone hear me?
confirm?
Sal, your mic is all.
Jella, is it better?
It sounds much better. Can
Hello?
someone? Yes?
Can someone hear me?
Jella?
Oh, I don't think, oh,
Yeah, he's talking. We can hear. Or the speakers are off, yeah.
All right,
Do you hear me at all?
no.
No.
All right, we're going to take a 5-minute break. We're having some technical glitch, even though we are back in our old territory Zoom, but like it's a new Zoom format. So
Shouldn't Nasser put his picture on?
Oh,
just put a
interesting.
technical break.
Shouldn't Nasser put his video on?
Yeah, I'm trying. Do you hear
Because
me?
he's on, but his video is.
NASA, your camera, please. Commissioner Shedder,
We
sorry.
hear you, but
Commissioner Shedder,
um,
we need your
the
camera on, please.
commissioners
Give
can't
give
hear
me
you.
one second. I'm trying to
We
use
can't
the
hear any
computer
of
for
them.
the video and the phone for the audio.
Oh, here we go.
It did.
I think Nasser got knocked off. Oh, no, either.
We're still on, so please be careful what you say.
No, I thought we asked for
Nasser's
to
on.
put a break saying.
No photo.
I don't think
Him right
so.
here.
Technical
Oh.
break.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Nasser.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Yep, good to see you.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Oh, we're all having difficulties today.
Yeah, there's a technical difficulty we are having.
At least we can hear him now.
Yeah, that's one.
Did you right click me?
I did.
Here, hold on, go to the participants.
Let me mute.
Called. Who's called? Zoom account invitation.
All right, Ms. Matias, we are back.
What?
We are back.
Okay, there's bubble back there. We ready to go? Put the screen.
Are we all doing, I mean, is there any echo? I just want to make sure. Are we echoing?
I don't hear an echo.
Okay,
I don't hear an echo.
okay, good.
Can you get in?
Are you okay? Chase?
Go ahead until he gets in. All right, we're gonna try this again. It's the Board of Standards and Appeals Review Session for July 29th, 2024. There's no public testimony during the review session. Please be aware that Commissioner Sheta is joining us virtually. The first item up is adjournments, 16008 BZ Volume 2. Item number 2, 2022-23 BZ, 1520 East 56th Street, Brooklyn.
Okay, this is the third adjournment. The applicant should make sure that there will be no adjournment that would be permitted. I do recognize that Jerry Callender's office was recently retained to represent the property owner. So if the applicant needs enough time to make its new submission, that is okay, but we will not allow any more adjournments.
Item number 3, 2022-96 BZ and 2016-4249 BZ, 2420 Amsterdam Avenue, Manhattan. Decision items. Item number 4, 31953 BZ, Volume 3, 1135 East 222nd Street, also known as 3651 East Chester Road, the Bronx.
Okay, so we received a submission 1 a.m. in the morning.
Also, do we just receive something at 10 o'clock?
We also received something at 10 o'clock. So we are in hearing, so we will definitely not have time to review it and make a decision. This was a complicated, this had a lot of issues, so I do want to make sure all of us have had enough time to review it. I will recommend that we second call this on Tuesday towards the end of the day.
Excuse me. Item number 5, 45756 BZ, Volume 3, 152 India Street, Brooklyn.
BSA project manager did receive an email from the community board where and the community board is proposing to schedule this for a hearing on September 10th, followed by a full board meeting or a land use meeting. I'm not sure of the format, but basically there'll be a land use committee meeting on September 10th, followed by a full board meeting on October 1st. And the community board rep states that community board did not receive the application. The proof of initial filing indicates that the application was mailed through certified mail dated 3/25/2024 to the community board. And the proof of service of hearing notices was also mailed out on 5/15/2024 to the community board. So I would say since the community board has had opportunities to schedule a hearing between March to June, and the board had closed the hearing since the applicant continued to meet the prior board conditions and the site being in good condition. I think holding off the decision until October may be unfair. So I want to get a take on on this matter from the commissioners. Are you in agreement or do you want to hold back till October?
I think we can move forward considering the history of this case.
Okay. All right, if that's the case, then I would say that the applicant did submit a revised plan and provided the necessary information, and the applicant is agreeable to a condition regarding the loading and unloading be limited to 8 to 6 p.m. Monday through Sunday. Is that acceptable?
I think it was Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 6.
Is it
p.m.
Monday through Saturday?
believe
That's
that's
even
what-
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. In that case, I make a motion to approve the extension of term for 10-year with the conditions that loading and unloading be limited to 8 AM to 6 PM Monday through Saturday. And the replacement of bumpers shall be provided for the spaces missing bumpers on the western boundary within 6 months from the date of the grant. With that motion to approve,
Chair Shanda,
aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Application has been granted. Item number 6, 2023-75 BZY, 1750 Eastchester Road, the Bronx.
There was no submission required. Motion to approve,
Chair Shanda,
aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Application has been granted. Item number 7, 27886 BZ, Volume 4. Excuse me, 1677 Bruckner Boulevard, the Bronx.
Applicant is requesting to defer till Tuesday in light of the proposed CEO text amendment. So we will do a second call on this one. No, it's not a proposed.
Yes.
Sorry. My bad. My bad. I'm sorry. The CEO is an adopted text. Yeah, I was up a little late too.
Mhm.
So the applicant needs to defer to make its decision based on the adopted CEO text as it affects the terms and the findings related to the drive-through. So applicant is going to figure out how they want to proceed. Thank you.
Okay, item number 8, 247-08 BZ, Volume 4, 3454 Nostrand Avenue, Brooklyn.
Same
Same
with the
thing, right?
previous one. We will call it on Tuesday.
Item number 9, 8599 BZ, Volume 2, 1106 Metcalf Avenue, the Bronx.
Okay. Statement of facts were revised to reflect the new use group. At the last hearing, the applicant was asked to provide a cover letter stating the reasons for cars parked in the dispenser area. As you recall, the reason stated was that to prevent vehicles from using that lane to fill up gas from the dispenser because of safety conditions, because of the low light conditions that was conditioned from the prior grant, where it required a 0 lumens light spread at the residential lot line. So I think my point to this is that applicant could have requested for an amendment to the prior board's condition regarding the 0.0 light spread. Applicant didn't propose that. Instead, the board had suggested that instead of blocking the way with parked vehicles, use cones or other measures to block it. That was not done. Board, so I think the applicant has been very sloppy in its representation of the case and its approach. At the last hearing, the board had recommended a 5-year term, another short-term lease, since the operator has continued to fail to maintain the site per board's condition and approved plan. So I want to know if the board still wants to proceed with this with a 5-year term and with the following conditions that I'm suggesting. That is, no vehicles shall be permitted to park on the site other than the vehicles accessing the site for automotive service station and its accessory convenience store. No vehicles shall park on the sidewalks, and vehicles shall be towed at vehicle owner's expense, and certificate of occupancy shall be obtained within 6 months from the date of the grant. Is that an acceptable, commissioners?
It is.
I also want to mention for the record that I have submitted photos taken fairly recently after their affidavit that shows the car is still parked in the final fueling position adjacent to residential, and also showing an inordinate amount of bags of plastic recycling on that interior side yard to the right of the building when you're looking at it, that go past the height of the fencing, and that's in the bordering the backyard of the residences. So I believe they are on the record now because I had them submitted so that the other commissioners can see it.
Mhm.
And so literally, when we complained about it being on the outside side yard, they just moved it to the inside side yard. And I have to say, I actually witnessed a U-Haul truck backing up to that inner side yard. And I assume that's where the recycling was coming from because the back doors were open and they were actively in and out of that. And then I went back like a half hour later and I noticed that the recycling was piled up high. So they're definitely using the site for other uses that have not been approved by the board. And being that it is so proximate to residential homes, I don't think that that's appropriate.
So do you want to proceed with the 5-year term, or do you want to call them back again or reopen?
Well, calling them back, I don't think is going to resolve this because we keep calling them back and talking to them about it and they're not ceasing their operations. So I would even suggest an even shorter term.
Okay. Are commissioners okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. What was 3-year?
3 years.
All right. So applicant, you're on notice. Commissioner Otley Brown photos are on the submit. It would be shared with you so that you know what has been observed. This has been a very problematic site, and the way this owner, and I would say the applicant, is directing the owner is not helping the case. And we're just going to keep shortening the number of terms to the point maybe we will have to deny it. So it is coming to that point. So the applicant, you're on notice, or property owner, operator, you're on notice, and it's going to be granted with these conditions for a 3-year term. And we will be monitoring this. And if we see anything that is out of compliance between now and the 3-year term, we will call in for compliance. So be very mindful of that. Thank you.
Can I suggest an additional condition?
Sure.
That the side yards not be used for storage of any materials of any sort at any time for any duration.
Well, side yard, that except for the trash enclosure, right? The trash
Right,
enclosure.
yeah.
You're talking about the rest of the side
The
yard.
rest of, because that's a very large side yard comparatively. It's not all of the trash enclosure.
Okay. Side yard other than the trash enclosure not be used for. Is that how you want to present? I just want to be very
Yes.
clear.
Yes.
I would still say trash enclosure also should not be used as a dumping ground excessively because of that. But the bottom line is whatever you're storing in the trash is really the trash that is generated from the site. You're not picking up someone else's trash. You're not picking up someone else's recycling product and storing it there.
And should be kept in a neat and tidy manner.
And should be kept in a neat and tidy manner. Yes. Okay. Okay.
Make a motion.
Yep.
So a motion to approve,
Aye, for 3-year term.
Chair Shonda, Vice Chair Shavetta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Shetta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Applications granted for a 3-year term. Item number 10, 2021-84A, 6301 Amboy Road, Staten Island.
I'm just writing. 3 years from today's date, yes. Okay. we need to reopen this. Applicant made a submission requesting an amendment to the appeals application to build an ambulatory diagnostic and treatment facility totaling 1,359 square feet of floor area with 4 on-site parking spaces. I mean, the application is incomplete anyway. Application needs to submit the revised submission to the community board and to all other elected officials. I would just say without even going through too much, not sure how this is going to happen realistically. Yep, motion to reopen.
Yes. Chair Shanda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
I just don't know how this project is going to succeed. But if it's an as of right use, the application is before us for an appeal, for a GCL waiver. So the applicant needs to make its submission and justify. Okay. Okay.
Are we opening and deferring or?
Well, we cannot hear it
Right.
now. It would be, a date will be scheduled sometime later on once all the submissions have been made and application has notified all the community board, borough president, elected
And then
officials
the sister agency.
and the sister agencies, yeah.
And we'll need a updated, there's no statement of facts. or
No,
something
right.
Describing
Yeah,
the,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It was
Everything needs
bone,
to be
it was a
updated.
bone submission.
Yeah, this was, I would call it a placeholder.
Yeah.
But
I'm
whatever,
Sorry, Madam Chair, a motion to reopen was made. I'm sorry, I missed it.
a motion, and I would say whatever date we are going to pick a date that cannot be adjourned. Because if it is going to be adjourned, we are going to motion to dismiss it. This has gone on for very long period of time. It was first heard in February of 2023.
And the applicant was put on notice about.
Yeah.
Shall I move on?
Yeah.
Item number 11, 2023-04BZ and 20207BZ, 2170 McDonald Avenue, Brooklyn.
Okay, we'll need to defer it. We are just waiting for all the sign off for Secra.
So what are we doing? Defer?
Defer.
Special order calendar, continued hearing items. 13193BZ, Volume 3, 3743, 3761 Nostrand Avenue, Brooklyn.
Okay, at the last hearing that was held on June 10th, the board had asked for additional clarification regarding the site condition along the rear lot line, excess signage and parking space usage. Applicant provided photos of the rear lot condition. The area does appear clean, though I would say additional planting is still needed in the rear along the north side, abutting the building on the subject site. So that needs to be taken care of. Excess signage has been removed. And the applicant did provide a clarification regarding the usage of the parking space. I'm fine with that explanation. And plans have been revised showing the location of the light fixtures, which are all wall mounted. So only thing I would want the applicant to confirm what is the new applicable use group. Vice Chairs, I'm sorry, General Counsel, I think that's a reasonable ask for a clarification of the new. And I would suggest when we, especially with auto-related uses, just do not say it's use group 6. There are within that use group 6 with the specific numbers. So please do specify it as close to possible, because that way we can put it in the specific category. An instruction has gone out? Right. An instruction has gone out to all the project, from the project managers to all the applicants. Yeah, go ahead. Vice Chair Shibata, sorry.
All I'll add is that they did relocate the trash dumpster and they did state that trash is removed twice a week by Metropolitan Recycling and provided invoices of same. Nothing further.
Okay. Okay. Commissioner Otley Brown?
I agree with you, Chair, that they should plant more landscaping in the rear so that it can't be used for garbage dumping in the future.
Thank you. Commissioner Shetta?
Thank you, Chair. And they also provided a letter from that company that parked a couple of trucks that we've seen in the picture during the past hearings. And they said these are going to be the only trucks that's going to be parking and they are awaiting service. Other than that, they shouldn't park any trucks. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, thank you. Commissioner Yoon?
Thank you. I have nothing further.
Thank you.
Item number 13, 6213 BZ, Volume 3, 2703 East Tremont Avenue, the Bronx.
Okay, at the initial hearing, the board had asked the applicant to revise the application, including revising the statement of facts, plans, zoning, and sign analysis. A compliance chart also has been provided. The applicant made a submission on Friday of photos of the existing landscaping. I will still say it's sparse and does not comply with the approved landscaping plan that the prior board had approved. So board had raised this at the last hearing, and it has not been addressed, so it needs to be looked into. Signage chart, I have a question regarding the signage chart. The signage chart states that the existing road sign is legally non-conforming. Now, the total surface area of the illuminated light is shown as 177.33 square feet, whereas the explanation provided adds up to less than 120 square foot. So I would want the applicant to check the analysis and verify, because while you're permitted 150 square foot per frontage, the analysis is not adding up. So please, and it cannot be first of all, it cannot be a legally non-conforming sign because the board couldn't have approved a legally non-conforming sign at that time. It had to abide by the condition said it had to meet the underlying signage regulation. So with regards to the revised plan, the plan shows 9 reservoir space. It does not show 10 reservoir spaces as approved by the board, and it is contrary to the requirement of the finding under which it was granted. So do revise it. Provide a detailed landscaping sheet. It was included in the approved plan set. Also, the plan set add a note stating that the signage shall comply with the underlying C12 signage regulation, and board is not waiving signage requirement. And the lot area dimension in the zoning sheet is not consistent with the plan sheet 01. And I would also like to know what is the status of the community board review. We have not received any community board recommendation. Applicant, project manager,
I
please.
believe we did
We did?
about 5 days ago, but I'm trying to open it and I'm having difficulty getting it.
Okay, maybe that's why I do not have it, but whoever can and it can share what the community board's recommendation, that would be much appreciated. Vice Chair Shibata.
All I wanted to add was that I do believe we received a community board. I'm just having trouble accessing it through our combined lineup.
Here,
Okay.
let me share what, it was circulated by email probably like 10 days ago.
Okay,
And then, it's on we got the vote here where it was unanimous for those who
Okay.
voted
okay,
to approve.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So community board voted unanimously. Okay, thank you.
Move on.
No, Commissioner Otley Brown.
Oh, sorry.
Other than the landscaping, I have no additional questions.
Okay. Commissioner Shetta.
Thank you, Chair. I have nothing further to add.
Okay, Commissioner Yoon.
Thank you. I had similar comments on the signage analysis and the reservoir spaces. I have nothing further.
Okay. Thank you. Next case, please.
2017-266 BZ, Volume 2,
Okay, at the initial hearing that.
20, oh, I didn't say the address.
Oh, I'm sorry.
2303 Avenue K, Brooklyn.
Okay, at the initial hearing that was held on June 10th, the applicant was asked to provide a completion of timeline. And in its submission, applicant indicates that it would require 4 years to start the construction and up to obtaining the certificate of occupancy. I have no additional comments. I'm satisfied with the response. Vice Chair Shibata.
Thank you, Chair. All I'll add is that they did make a statement that they have retained and financing is, an architect has been retained and financing is in place. And I have no further comments.
Thank you. Commissioner Otley Brown,
I have no additional comments.
thank you. Commissioner Sheta,
I'm now satisfied with the application. Thank you.
thank you. Commissioner Yoon,
Thank you, I'm satisfied.
New cases on the SOC calendar. Item number 15, 93882 BZ, 2470 East 16th Street, Brooklyn.
okay, we received proof of initial filing and hearing notices. Community Board has voted to approve this project. This is an extension of term application for a previously approved use variance pursuant to 7221 for a commercial use with accessory parking, which expired on May 17th, 2023, and also a waiver of board's rule. So the applicant is here for, as I said, extension of term. There's a new ownership as of February of 2024. And so applicant needs to provide when did it expire? 2023. So the applicant needs to provide a proof of continuous use. With regards to the hour of operation, I want the applicant to, I need a clarification. The 9 to 5 a.m. that is proposed, is this for a 7-day operation or a 5-day? That wasn't clear. With regards to the signage, applicant, please provide a signage analysis. Add a note to the plan stating that the signage shall comply with C1 regulations. So prior board had a condition that a street tree be provided. I want the applicant to clarify and confirm if a street tree was planted and which one it is, or how many. I don't know if there was one or many. Overall, from the photos provided, the building needs a good coat of paint, otherwise, and they need to stripe the parking spaces as shown on the plan. And applicant also please confirm the applicable new use group pursuant to ZEO. Those are my comments. Vice Chair Shibata.
Thank you, Chair. I noticed that they expired on May 17, 2023, and the initial filing provided was 5/22/24. I wonder if there's anything earlier. Did they file the application earlier, or is that just the proof of filing? Because that would be, if they did file before, they would be within that 1-year period.
And that's a good point. Okay, so maybe
I'm trying to check the filing, the initial filing of the application, but I'm having some.
okay, so let me look at the BSA. I just looked at the application. BSA certification.
I mean, the first version that I'm seeing is from May of 2024 for the application form.
May 17th.
Yeah.
So that would be that'd be the same day. That'd be 1 year on the date.
Mhm.
Which I would think would allow them to not have to show continuous use, but I'll defer to our general counsel.
Well, typically, if the term has expired a year before, but I mean, it should not be that difficult, honestly speaking.
Yeah, sure.
It's just showing a Google Street View.
Absolutely.
And this building has been existing. And it may have been vacant, but the building.
There is no Google Street View for that year,
Oh.
but the photos of the applicant are dated May 16th, 2024, if that's helpful.
That'll do.
That is just inside.
Okay.
My only question, and I agree with everything you stated, my only question is the parking. Now that there are 10 employees, are we sure that the 6 parking spots will be sufficient for this use? I have nothing further.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Commissioner Otley Brown.
If the parking requirement has been met based on the square footage, I don't know what authority we would have.
I agree.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
I have no additional questions.
Yeah, I don't think the board waived the parking requirement as part of the prior grant. And then whatever the underlying parking requirement is should be met or whatever. So, yeah. Commissioner Shetta?
Thank you, Chair. There is a typo in the statement where it says the request to extend the term. They say a special permit. I believe it should be a variance. The second point, if the concern about the filing date versus the expiration date is the waiver, I do believe that they are asking for waiver for the rules. Other than that, I have nothing further to add. Thank you.
Commissioner Yoon?
Thank you. I have nothing further to add.
I just wanted to say, the waiver is always predicated on the proof of continuous use, Commissioner Shetta, so that's why we were questioning it.
Understood. Thank you for the clarification.
Yes.
Item number 16, 36203BZ, volume 4, 428 West 45th Street, Manhattan.
Okay, we received proof of initial filing and hearing notices. We do not have a community board resolution on this. This is an application for an extension of term for 10 years for continued use for a portion of the site for parking and storage that is accessory to the commercial use. Applicant is requesting, as I said, a 10 years term. A proof of continuous use in this case is not required. Certificate of occupancy expired in May of 2024, and the filing was made pretty, I think, within that period. Compliance chart also has been provided. Overall, the site condition seems to be in good shape. And based on the photos that's been provided, I do want to get an update on the violation status. There are 4 active DOB violations. Applicant, also please confirm the new use group. And do we have any update on the secret status on this?
Yes, we received the revised form.
Thank you. Revised type 2 form.
Correct.
Okay, great. Thank you. Vice Chair Shibata.
I agree with your statements. The only thing I would add is I believe there might be a typo in the statement of facts where they refer to passenger car type vehicles as pleasure car type vehicles. Other than that, I have nothing further.
Okay. Okay. Commissioner Otley Brown.
I have no additional questions.
Commissioner Shetta.
Thank you, Chair. I share the comment regarding the update on the violations with you. And in addition to that, if you look at the shed in the rear, the statement says it's 96 square feet in area. And the drawings show about 250 square feet, while the zoning analysis form shows 308. So all the 3 are in 3 different words. They need to take a look at that and make them consistent. And I believe the drawings, I looked at the dimensions on the drawings, and if the dimensions placed are correct, I believe the area would be on the order of 250 square feet.
Thank you. Commissioner Yoon.
Thank you. The only thing is they do address the violations in their statement of facts, just noting that they're all 4 of the open violations are from failure to file the proper energy benchmarking reports
Okay.
with the Department of Buildings. I'm actually just looking on Biz now to see if that's true. But anyway, they can confirm that.
Okay.
That's they did talk about that in the end of the statement of facts.
Okay. Thank you.
I have nothing further to add.
Thank you. All right.
Move on.
Yes.
Appeals calendar, new cases, 2024-16A, 61 Muriel Street, Staten Island.
We received proof of initial filing and hearing notices. Community Board has approved this application. This is an application pursuant to GCL 36 to develop a warehouse not fronting on a map streets. Those would be Lunston and Muriel Street. Both Lunston and Muriel are not map streets. Lunston is 40-foot wide Record Street, and Muriel is 50-foot wide Record Street. At the subject site, it's 32-foot wide, and Lunston is 26-foot wide. Both of them have sidewalks of varying depth. I think Lunston has 8 foot and Muriel has 5 foot 6 inches. So the applicant is proposing a one-story warehouse with 2 loading berths, 2 curb cuts on Muriel Street, and the building will be fully sprinklered. I have a couple of questions. I think from the drawing, it seems the applicant is proposing to extend the existing sidewalk along Lunston and Muriel and to their respective width, but I want the drawings to clearly indicate the width, the proposed widths of these sidewalks. Also provide a detailed plan similar to a builder's pavement plan and indicate on the plan the required amount of parking spaces. Now, I have a question. When I looked at the plan, the building was not set at the corner of Lunston and Muriel. There seems to be an open space at that corner. So my question is, will there be any vehicles accessing that portion of the site? And would it be accessible? Would it be just for internal circulation, or would it be access from exterior? Because if so, then the applicant needs to show curb cuts on the plan, which is not shown. Also, applicant, please confirm the applicable new use group. Vice Chair Shiveta.
Thank you, Chair. I agreed with your statements. I was satisfied with their hardship statement. They didn't include the actual text of the GCL 36 statute, which I asked for them to include on appeals, and I have nothing further to add.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Otley Brown.
I have no additional question.
Thank you. Commissioner Sheta.
Thank you, Chair. Nothing further from me.
Thank you. Commissioner Yoon.
My only question was, in addition to what you had stated, is if we need FDNY on this?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I didn't
also,
see it in the file.
right. And also DEP review is outstanding
On 36?
on this one, isn't it? I
Oh.
I don't know. If we need a DEP, I think it has been sent to DEP. That's why I'm
For some reason, okay, all right.
Okay.
Missy Banks Chu has her hand up, Madam Chair.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, we don't send it for the 36
Okay.
unless it's a particular concern. So we're just waiting on FDNY.
Great. Thank you.
Just for the edification of the board and the record as a whole, I just want the board to note that tax lot 995 Lunston Avenue had been previously granted by the board under 731-86-A, presumably creating the unmapped street frontage abutting this subject property.
Okay. Thank you.
Uh,
That
To
should be-
that effect, if this development were a residential development, GCL 36-3 would permit it as of right.
Okay. Item
Thank
number
you.
18, 2024-17A, 35 Marjorie Street, Staten Island.
Okay, we received proof of initial filing and hearing notices. Committee board has voted to approve this application. This is also an application pursuant to GCL 36 to develop a warehouse not fronting on a map street. And the map street being Marjorie, am I pronouncing it properly? Marjorie Street. Applicant is proposing a one-story warehouse with 5 loading berths, and 3 parking spaces, and each of the curb cuts, and there'll be 5 curb cuts that will be provided for each loading berth, each 12-foot wide, and building will be fully sprinkled. So my first question is why 5 curb cuts are required? Can't the curb cuts be consolidated so that one curb cut could be shared for 2 loading berths and reduce the number of curb cuts on the sidewalk? And indicate on the plan 3 accessory parking spaces that are required per zoning. Indicate the proposed width of the sidewalk on the plan and provide a detailed plan similar to a builder's pavement plan regarding the construction of the sidewalk. Those are my questions. Also, applicant, please confirm the applicable new use group. Vice Chair Shibata.
I have nothing to add. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Otley Brown.
I have no question.
Okay. Commissioner Sheta.
Oh, sorry, I was muted, sorry. Do you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. I agree with you on the comment regarding the number of the curb cuts, and I have nothing further to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Yoon.
Thank you. I have nothing further.
I'd just like to let the board know 484 Sherritt's Road, also known as tax lot 293, had been previously granted by the board under 924-87-A, presumably creating unmapped street frontage adjacent to this property and questionably abutting the property.
That's lot 393 or 360?
Lot 293.
Lot 293.
It's not 393?
Lot 293, block 7328, lot 293, 484 Sherritt's Road, which also has frontage on Marjorie Street as well.
Thank you.
Now, I have a question. Shouldn't this be stated by the applicant in its
Yes.
statement?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but because it's not a residential, they don't have the,
Right.
Well,
As of
it's
right.
questionable in this application whether, but for residential development, GCL 36-3 would apply here as the unmapped street frontage doesn't necessarily pass by the entirety of this premises.
that being said, yeah, it would be helpful for them to add that for their argument.
Upon information and belief, a question from the project manager to this applicant was made regarding whether the development could solely rely on existing developed but unmapped street frontage, or whether a builder's pavement plan would be required to fully develop the street frontage abutting the premises.
Okay. Thank you. Move on. Yes.
Item number 19, 2024-29A, 292 Avenue C.
We received proof of initial filing and hearing notices. Please note that notice of hearing to Department of Buildings was provided less than 20 days before the hearing. Through an email, DOB Commissioner Pavan confirmed that BSA may proceed with today's hearing. So with that, I'll start with the proceeding on this one. Committee board did vote to approve. It was a unanimous approval. We also received a letter from the committee board endorsing DDC's plan to build the restroom facility at the Murphy Brothers Playground and the request for a waiver to build on a floodplain. So this is an application for a waiver of flood regulations pursuant to Appendix G of the Building Code to construct a new public restroom building at Murphy Brothers Playground located within a flood hazard area. Applicant is seeking partial waivers of certain sections of Building Code G 304.1, which is zoning construction standard, and G 304.1.2, which is regarding non-residential. So this site is located in the Murphy Brother Playground. It's a city park. The park is located within the East Side Coastal Resiliency, and it's located in the flood hazard zone AE with a base flood elevation of 12-foot NAVD 88 and a design flood elevation height of requiring design flood elevation height of 14-foot NAVD 88. So this applicant is proposing, DDC is proposing to build a 720 square foot of a restroom to be located at the northwestern end of the Murphy Brother Playground. The restroom would be located at grade at 7-foot high NAVD 88. It would be therefore located below the base flood elevation of 12 foot and design flood elevation of 14 foot. And the request for this variance is being required because of a short-term period for a short-term period until the completion of the East Side Coastal Resiliency Project, which is expected to be completed in 2026. So the East Side, the Murphy Brother Playground is within the East Side Coastal Resiliency, which is a comprehensive 2.4-mile long system consisting of passive protection, construction of seawalls, floodgates, upgrades to sewer and drainage, and improvements to waterfront open spaces. And the purpose of the seawall is to protect the Lower East Side neighborhood in Manhattan from base flood tides of 12-foot high, including the Murphy Brother Playground. So the portion of the seawall along the Murphy Brothers Playground has been constructed, and all the gates within the project area is in place. The playground is under construction and is estimated to be completed by the end of this year. The height of the flood protection wall varies from 8 foot to 9 foot high above grade. And with the completion of the project and the resiliency, the East Side Coastal Resiliency Project, it will provide a flood protection for 1% annual chance of flood event. So with all that said, let's go to the findings. So BSA has the authority to waive the Building Code Appendix G pursuant to sections 105.1, 105.7, and there are several of them. I went through them, and these are my following statements based on the review of those findings and the submissions of the documents that's been made. First of all, the applicant has provided its response to the applicable sections. The applicant states that there are 2 construction options that can satisfy the requirements of the code without a variance. This is like an as-of-right construction option, and one would be a dry flood proofing, and the second one would be elevating the building above the design flood elevation. However, the statement also states that the dry flood proofing of the public restroom is not feasible because it would require larger structural elements to prevent buoyancy and resist hydrostatic pressure. And it would require new staffing to move all the flood shields and other things. Elevating the restroom above design flood elevation of 14 foot, that means 7 foot above the existing grade, also is not an option because it will require significant amount of ramping. I think it stated up somewhere over 100-foot long ramps that would be required, and a landing porch. Since the playground is small, and for it to provide all the necessary ramps and the landing porch, it would then take much of the playground area. So that is the hardship based on which the applicant is proposing to retain the restroom at grade, which would be at present below the flood elevation. I would say the applicant's response is very thorough and has shown sufficient cause. Applicant's representation that as-of-right building structure will not be feasible is clear and responds to the hardship associated with the site. The proposed variance is to meet the gap between now and the completion of the East Side Coastal Resiliency, which is projected to be completed in 2026. It is the minimum necessary, and especially considering the resiliency plan that is underway and under construction, it's quite commendable that, as the applicant statement states, that they may be able to secure a revision to the map where it may no longer be in the flood zone. And in addition, the New York City Parks has developed an emergency response plan for this site, and it outlines the steps that needs to be taken during, after, and after a flood event to minimize any risk. My only question with regards to that plan is that, is this emergency response plan in effect? Also, the applicant states that the construction will comply with floodproofing per ASCE 24 to 20, 24, ASC 24-14, including flood resiliency material, flood vents, elevated utilities, and spread footing foundation design for additional loads. So I would say that the engineering letters affirms that such construction method of the proposed building will not result in displacement of the building off the foundation of the structure during the tidal flood event. So I would say, not knowing the full understanding of it, just visualizing it, if the building was going to shear off the foundation, gave me comfort reading that letter. So all in all, this is a very thorough submission, and the building, once completed, will serve the community. And for that, its proximity to the playground is critical. The proposed development is part of a very comprehensive resiliency program, and the emergency response plan and all the safety measures as proposed and underway will make the proposed development not a hazard and would address the public safety issues. So I'm very satisfied with this application. And we do not have any secra on this matter because I think we adopted the FEIS and the tech memo findings of 15 of prior, I think, with regards to the East River resiliency. Commissioner, Ms. Benke, am I wrong? Am I incorrect in my statement? Tracy?
No, that's correct. We will be using the findings from the FEIS and tech memo from 15 DPR 013M.
Okay. Thanks. Vice Chair Shibata.
Thank you, Chair. I too found this to be a very thorough and detailed application. I find that it met all the findings. And I just have one question to the emergency response plan. And that was, it seems like what would start off, or what would advise an action plan would be whether the National Weather Service or emergency services predicted an emergency. I was wondering if there's any monitoring, if there was any, if there's a button someone could press, like they could press for fire or police, if they see a flooding situation that's not something that's been predicted yet by National Weather Services. Or I'm not really sure if that's something that's even feasible or maintainable, but I just would want a little bit of explanation on that.
Okay. I think, again, given the...
It is very thorough.
It is very thorough. I'm very eager to see the seawall.
Sure. I wouldn't want to hold it up on that question.
Commissioner Otley Brown.
I thought that this is a very thorough application, and I do not have any additional comments.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Sheta.
Thank you, Chair. This is one of the excellent applications for Appendix G. I would praise the team for the very well structured application. Couple of clarifications, not even comments. One of them is with respect to ASC 24. My understanding from Part 2, enclosure below the design flood elevation, at the end of that section, they imply that no waiver is required with respect to ASC 24 requirements. However, later on, if we proceed to 6 certification, Section 6 certification, it says that the application is seeking modification to the requirements. The proposed language would be changed to in accordance with would be changed from in accordance with ASC 24 to in accordance with ASC 24 as approved for this project. So I'm just like a little bit confused. If there is no like waiver is required with respect to ASC 24, why would item 6 be required at all? My understanding, if this is the case, no waiver is required. The language should stay the language, unless there is some sort of waiver is required. They can clarify to us about that, and I'm okay with modifying the language in the certification part. It's good that they indicated that the building, they went through the findings, and I really enjoyed reading that section, much better than previous applications. The technical showing was very clear to me. The determination that the failure to grant will result in a hardship. I'm okay with that. Item 3, the determination that the granting will not result in any increase the flood height, that very clear. You go like through that until item 6, all the findings are met. They promised to like.
Can't hear you. We just,
On the while during the construction, one of this is to provide flood.
Commissioner Shetta, we just got a little blank when you said they promised. Can you start from that
Yeah,
sentence?
sure. I got a call actually, and I just hanged on it. So sorry. Yes, they indicated that they're gonna take care of some precautions to make sure that the building is intact after any flooding event. Well, for example, they said they're gonna leave flood vents in the building. My understanding is gonna be around the perimeters to make sure that the water do not accumulate within. I believe it should be not within, it should be around. When waters accumulate around, it causes buoyancy, and it could cause damage. So I believe the language should be to prevent water from accumulating around, not within. And I need them to like, or I really recommend that this would be one of the conditions, that the inlet and the exit of flood water to inside and from inside the proposed structure occurs smoothly, so no damage occurs. A good thing is they are proposing flood resistant material. We need to probably condition on that as well. Regarding the flotation, I saw that they added a very good paragraph that they're gonna design this structure to make sure no flotation, no buoyancy, no damage happen to the structural elements, which I believe it should be conditioned to. I can send this language to the project manager, and he can discuss it with you, Chair. But globally, the application is very thorough. It's really a pleasure to review an application like this. I do have a clarification just for fairness. I've seen an application for a restroom probably like 4 years ago. That the other application, I was fully against it. The reason for that is that the previous application, the restroom was attached to a structure inside the coastal hazard zone. And I didn't buy the way that structure, that the ramp and the marina was designed. That's why I was against that restroom project back then. But for this one is less hazardous. It's inland. It's not in a coastal hazard zone. It's just an AE zone. And the way the project team structured this application give me full confidence that they know what they are doing. So again, I want to thank them for that, and I have nothing further to add. I haven't seen a zoning analysis, and my understanding is that the waiver that we're going to grant is just limited to the restroom. So we want to make sure that this is clear on the drawings, that whatever waiver we grant is just limited to the restroom, and if they can give us a zoning analysis, or it's up to the board. If the board is not. Yes, go ahead, Chair.
I think this is not a requirement for this because it's a mapped parkland. And
If it's not, I'm not saying it, I require that,
the drawings
but if
that
it's
we-
not,
the drawings that the board is going to approve will specify shows the dimensions of the project and the plan, and that will be the scope.
yep, that's okay. That's okay for me. Just a note on the plan saying that the waiver scope is limited to this restroom on the drawings would be enough. Thank you.
I also just want to, okay, let me go to Commissioner Yoon first before I make my other statement. Go ahead, Commissioner Yoon.
The only thing I wanted to add to what's been stated, I thought it was a very thorough application. I'm supportive of it. Just that as we write the resolution, that it's specific which special inspections, that they're seeking a waiver, a partial waiver of special inspections required under 107.3, 107.4, 107.5. That would not be applicable based on the previously requested waivers, just making sure that those special inspections that we are waiving are specific to those prior waivers that we're granting under this, if, should we grant it? Okay. Just to be careful with the language, that's all, so that we're not actually waiving any additional special inspections.
Right, it
pursuant
has to be
the
very
next sheet.
specific
Yeah.
waivers.
That's the only thing I wanted to add.
Yeah. I just want to say that, how the board reviews each one of these cases is independent, and it should not have any bearing on how the past was reviewed versus present, and this is a different board. So I really don't want us to have any position or show that we have a firm position of one or the other. So with that, let's move on to the next case.
New cases, BZ calendar, item number 2024 BZ, 16736, 145th Avenue, Queens.
We received proof of initial filing and hearing notice. I did not see a community board vote, but we did receive a letter of objection from a neighbor. This is an application for a variance pursuant to zoning resolution section 72-21 to develop an as-of-right single-family home that is contrary to the side yard regulations on the side. This is a vacant, narrow, undersized zoning lot.
I'm
Applicant.
sorry, Madam Chair.
Huh?
I'm
Yes.
sorry, Madam Chair. This is Carlo. For some reason, there was just a momentary freezing of the screen, and I'm not sure if publicly, your just last maybe paragraph was heard.
Okay. Do you want me to start all over again on this case?
I would suggest so. Thank you.
Okay, can you please call it out?
Sure. The case we're currently discussing is item number 2024 BZ, 16736, 145, 45th Avenue, Queens.
We received proof of initial filing and hearing notices. I do not see a community board vote on this. However, I do see a letter that we have received. It's a letter of objection from a neighbor. This is an application for a variance pursuant to zoning resolution section 72-21 to develop an as-of-right single-family home that is contrary to the side yard regulations on the subject site. The requirement is for 2 side yards with a minimum each being 5 foot wide, 10 foot total. The applicant is seeking waivers of the side yard width. It's a narrow site. It's a 20-foot wide site the applicant is proposing a 2-story plus cellar 1-family home, which is an as-of-right use. Whereas an as-of-right building on this site pursuant to all the underlying regulations would have resulted in a 10-foot wide floor plate with the required 2 side yards, 5 foot wide each. And the proposed building would be a 14-foot wide floor plate. So moving to the findings of 7221 uniqueness, a study has been provided, and based on the analysis that has been provided, I believe the applicant has met the uniqueness findings. With regards to the neighborhood character, applicant has provided typical home width study. An average home width is 24 foot, ranging from 19 foot to 42 foot width. A side yard width study that has been provided, The analysis only identifies sites with narrow side yard. The study should show the typical side yard widths. So I think that that study needs to be redone. With regards to self-created, the ownership history of the subject site with abutting lots has been provided. The site was briefly held in common ownership with the abutting lot number 74. However, city foreclosed it and disposed it, and board over the years has recognized a break in the chain of title of ownership when there's a government entity involved. So based on that, I would say it meets finding D. With regards to minimal, while the proposed home size is within range of the homes built in the area, I still want to see the side yard width study. I would still say that most, as I was looking through the Zola, most of the lots in the study area are much wider and larger than the subject site, and the home sizes are wider than the proposed. So I do think the ask is minimal, but I do want to see the side yard study provided. I also had a question if the house is going to be sprinkled. Those are my comments. Otherwise, this is a very reasonable ask. I just need that clarification. Vice Chair Shibata.
My only comment is whether or not the applicant has reached out to the community board to see whether or not they're going to vote on this application. Other than that, I have no further comments.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Otley Brown.
So I would say that while the average home width on the block is actually 24.4 feet with a range of 19 feet to 42 feet, none of the lots in the study are as narrow as the subject lot. But that being said, I still feel that the proposed 14-foot wide home is definitely not going to destroy the character of the neighborhood. And so I have no questions. I think this is a reasonable request, this application.
Okay, thank you. What happened here? Something.
Did we mention the objection?
Yes, we do have one objection here. So. I'm having a little computer moment. I don't know why. Why is the header footer showing up? How do I get out of it? Undo. Okay. Just out of a sudden. I'm sorry. I was not able to take the notes because something just popped up on the screen. Commissioner Sheta.
Thank you, Chair. I agree with what you said. I believe the site is unique and I have no further comments to add. And I'm satisfied with the ask. I believe it's reasonable.
Thank you. Commissioner Yoon.
Thank you. I also believe that this application meets the findings and I'm satisfied. The only question I had, which maybe you already stated this, is the side yard study that was provided is not in the same format that we typically see it, where you would survey all of the houses within a certain radius, as opposed to just hand picking which side yards you would show to demonstrate your point. So if that could be revised to be more consistent with how we've seen them in the past, I think that would be helpful.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, this concludes the public review session for July 29th, 2024.
All right, let's take a
11:27.
10-minute break. We're at 11:30, so 11:40.
Okay, we'll resume, ladies and gentlemen, at 11:40 for the public hearing.
We did this, we approved. I mean, I want to move in here. This place is gorgeous. I think.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We're live. We're streaming. Ms. Matias, you may proceed with the public hearing section.
Sorry, good morning. This is the New York City Board of Standards and Appeals public hearing for July 29th, 2024. We'll begin with the special order calendar continued hearing items. Item number 12, 13193 BZ, volume 3743, 3761 Nostrand Avenue, Brooklyn.
I don't think I have the ability to let anybody. in.
We're working on.
Working on that. Yaz in charge.
Yeah, is in charge?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think. it would be-
I will let people in. Elise has raised her hand.
So this is Elise Fullader. Attendees. Whose case is this? Eric.
Hi,
Hello, Mrs. How are you?
good, thank you.
Please state your name for the record and let me raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do, thank you so much. Elise Fullader from Eric. Sorry, PC. It's just me today, because your questions, you didn't have too many questions, appreciate that. First is I spoke with the ownership and he's more than happy to plant a few more plants. And you said the north side of the rear, correct?
Right, so
I wanted to maybe
it's the gap between on the northern side, between the last set of trees and where the building is. So there's about, I would say, 7 foot of gap where plants very much can be provided.
Okay.
I understand behind the building, there weren't any plants that were required and you don't need to provide it. And it's in good condition. It's really that portion of the frontage which is not blocked by the building.
Okay, no problem. He understands. And secondly, I spoke with the architect and he'll update the use group, which is mainly, we can put it in the statement, but on the zoning analysis form and we'll look through the plans. Sure.
Yeah, and also, within now the ZEO, it provides a lot more clarity, especially within use group 6, there is 6A, 6B, and then within that, there is the very specific, what is the term called, national standard of NSC. I forget the code, what it's called. So if you could just specify that, I think that would be helpful.
Yeah.
And this is.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at it now.
All applicants who are listening in.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
That's it.
Anything? Yeah? Ms. Fuller, anything else that you wanted to say?
No, I think those were your 2 big questions, and I think we can easily do that in the next few weeks.
Do we want to show?
Yeah, of course, this is the perfect planting season, so you should plant it now and provide the photos.
No problem. And I don't know what you're about to do, but we respectfully request if there's no further questions, we'll plan it in the meantime until you, if you are able to close it.
Sure, that sounds fine.
Public?
Yes. Any other questions for Ms. Fullader? Okay, let's go to the public.
Okay, the case that we're currently discussing is 13193 BZ, volume 3, 3743, 3761 Nostrand Avenue, Brooklyn. Should you wish to discuss, dial 669-254-5252. You will enter the webinar ID number 160-896-6606 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt, you will press the pound sign only. You will press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute. If you're calling in on the phone, you may chomp on the host. *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute if you're calling in on the phone. Once you're being recognized, you will have 3 minutes in which to discuss. You can also raise your hand by the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen.
Okay, so, please let us know, I would say coordinate with the project manager. As when you think, you will be able to, send us a photo of the, with the new plans in place. And we will schedule it. I think the next hearing is August. And the other one is September, early
Probably
September.
keep it September, which is what I'll reach out.
Yeah, but September 9th is, submission date is August 22nd. Does that work for you?
Actually, the submission can be even later than that
Yeah.
because these are just photos, so it can be as late as possible. But if September 9th is okay with you, and
I think so. I'll double check with the client after, but I'm gonna say yes for now, but I'll make sure to reach out to the project manager.
okay,
There's no revised plans on this one?
no,
No. Okay.
no,
Okay.
only photos of the new landscaping.
Oh, okay. Cross that out. Okay, it's done. Sorry, the alarm didn't go. Why didn't the alarm go off when it's due?
If
There it goes.
everybody is satisfied with the submission, I would recommend that we close and schedule it for September 9th. Okay. Motion to close?
Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye. So, Ms. Pollard, provide us a photo and a cover letter stating the new use group.
Okay.
Damn, so stupid. Okay, item number I'm sorry, thank you. Item number 13, 6213 BZ, volume 32703 East Tremont Avenue, the Bronx.
Please raise
This-
your hand. I do not know who the,
This is,
oh,
Neil Alexander.
Yep.
How do you
See
feta?
him? All right. I've made him a panelist. Is he in?
I don't see him on the screen. There he is. Okay, Mr. Alexander, please raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name, proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session.
Sure. My name's Neil Alexander, a partner in the law firm of Cuddy and Fader here today on behalf of the applicant. Actually, I think my client is also on the stream, Andrew Took.
Andrew Took.
Does he need to be, does he need to be?
Yes, he does not. He does not. I just wanted to note that his participation and concern and awareness of what's going on. We had a chance to speak after the review session, and as noted by the BSA, somehow you are very correct that between the prior approved drawings and the current approved drawings, the queue for the drive-through somehow dropped from 10 cars being shown to 9 cars. So we will definitely correct that. And we also noticed that some of the landscaping on our landscaping plan that was approved in 2013 and 2019 seemed not to have shown up on our drawings that were submitted to you most recently. So we acknowledge those issues and have no problem getting our maintenance team out there once the weather cools a little bit to get our plantings that are missing from the approved plan. There's no trees, it's just a few shrubs and ground covers we noticed there from the prior approval or have not been maintained and are not out there. And we would definitely address that and appreciate staff bringing that to our attention. On the signage, I don't know if you want us to address that issue first, or do you want to address it with us? We have a proposed solution. I'm not fully familiar, candidly, with the amortization that may have occurred over the past 20 years relative to the sign code in the city. But basically that sign has been in that condition since at least 2007, if not beforehand. And I think the sign that's really the question mark here is the pylon sign. And so we would propose, if that's possible, and want to have a dialogue with you all. We have no problem with the essentially the announcement board, you know, the white area that's below that lets us do specials as opposed to the logo and font that says Wendy's or the Wendy's girl, which obviously is, you know, part of our Lanham package of our trademarked identity. We have no problem with having the sandwich board reduced and removed. We'd love to keep the superstructure as is and just remove the two sides of the sandwich board. Our best estimate right now is that each side of that sandwich board is probably about 3 feet by 7 feet. So it's 21 square feet on each side. That's 42 square feet, and that would drop us down to about 120 something, where 150 square feet is allowed. So that's our at least our opening thought. Obviously, you know, you are the board, and, you know, we definitely could use a little bit of education on when that amortization could have occurred. We're a newish owner, so we checked BSA, and there are the sign permits. There aren't any. It's been out there like that, and we looked at Google Earth and have photos all that we submitted, you know, to you all. We have photos, historic photos rather, going back to at least 2007 that suggest to us it hasn't changed. So that was why we wrote legally non-conforming. We were working off of that presumption that we'd been renewed in 13 and 19, and no comments were made associated with that. So if we have an error in drawing that conclusion, our proposed idea is to just remove the you know, part or all of that, of the white announcement area, which lets us, you know, do specials, but at least keeps our brand identity on the pylon.
Okay, so I think just in terms of the zoning requirement, the zoning has not changed, and what the zoning requires, as I go through the signage requirement, I believe it still is 150 square foot per frontage. So if we were to go by 150 square foot frontage, I think you should be okay. So it's just the way you're doing the analysis and calling it non-compliant is my question. Because if your pylon sign can be reduced to less than 150 square feet, if it is less than currently less than 150 square feet, you're fine.
So Chairman, maybe I misexplained it. So we have that's great, because I think we are compliant, and then I may have made an error in my assumption. The pylon sign is 56 square feet per side. So it's 112 square feet total. So it's less than 150, and it's the only signage we have on that of our frontages. So maybe we are compliant and I wrote it incorrectly.
So go back to the requirements and then see how each one of your building frontages are complying. And that is really where I was questioning, is that it seems the way the analysis is done is incorrect. And to say that it's illegally non-compliant, I'm not sure it would be. So that's why I raised that.
Let me ask a quick question, because maybe I have misapprehended 32,644. Are we allowed 50 square feet per frontage or 150 square feet per frontage?
It's 50.
Yeah,
So
Madam Chair.
Yep,
Madam
go
Chair,
ahead.
this is Carlo Costanza. Mr. Alexander, I believe the requirements in the C1 zoning district are a total not to exceed 150 square feet per frontage, right? Of which only 50 feet may be illuminated.
So each frontage, you could have up to 50 square foot that is illuminated, and each frontage can have maximum of 150 square foot. So I would say go back and see if you comply with that. If you do, no issues. If you don't, then I think you may have to fall back on the argument of that prior to the board's grant, that pylon sign has been there. And if you have drawings or on the that shows that it was always accepted as that would be the way to kind of go around that pylon sign.
Yes, and Madam Chair, just for the board members, again, the purview of the board jurisdictionally is that there is no position on the sign. It just must comply, and if it was a lawful existing condition, that's for the applicant team to determine. But again, our jurisdiction is limited to the drive-through.
Yeah, go ahead, Commissioner Otley Brown. You wanted to.
So I was gonna say, if they can show us that it's on the previously approved plans, then we can then have a disclaimer that the BSA is not making a determination on the legality of the signage
Mhm.
and just leave it on the plans going forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for that guidance. We appreciate it.
Any other questions, or comments?
I just want to note that I didn't see the pylon sign anywhere on the current proposed drawings either. So, and normally we have asked for signage drawings
I
to be
think-
included in the plan set.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not there. It's just shown as the, where it's. is it-
I don't see the pylon anywhere in the drawing set for
Okay,
the
so-
proposed.
Yeah, that needs to be shown. Don't think, oh, there it goes. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Okay, any other questions or comments? Let's then go to the public.
The case that we're currently discussing is 6213 BZ, Volume 3, 2703 East Tremont Avenue, the Bronx. Should you wish to comment, dial 669-254-5252. You will enter the webinar ID number 160-896-6606 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt, you will press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute if you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already and wish to be recognized, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your laptop or computer screen, sorry. Once you're permitted in, you will have 3 minutes in which to discuss.
Mr. Alexander, how long will it take for you to make these corrections and plant? This is a perfect planting season, so.
Yeah, I think we just need a little bit of slightly cooler weather than the heat waves we had a couple of weeks ago. So I do think we could be planted by the end of August and get you photos in order. I had heard you float around a timeline of August 22nd for September 9th or something around that lines.
And you need to do a little bit of digging around the history of the signage and revise
Yes.
documents and if necessary, provide a narrative depending upon how it, where it falls based on your search.
Yes. And per Commissioner Yoon's comment, we will also get the pylon onto the drawings.
So you also need to revise the plans.
Yeah, I think we'd probably just need to add one sheet rather than, we do need to revise the plans. You're correct. We have to show the 10 and all that. Yeah, correct. We need to do revised plans.
You need to revise the plan, you need to add the landscaping,
Yep.
revise the landscaping in your site plan because your site plan shows very sparse.
Yes, and Madam Chair, a full set is required.
Okay. Thank you.
One
Thank you for the
bubble,
clarification.
one regular, one,
Yes.
one bubble set, one final set.
Full set of plan, bubble showing where the changes are and one clean set. And then a complete analysis of the signage. And should you find that your signage is completely complying with the underlying regulations as we read it, you can put a sign saying that the signage shall comply with underlying zoning regulation signage, which is, I think, C1 in the
Mhm.
plan.
Yes, and I think if staff could help us a little bit relative to the records, because we were coming up short other than as far as city records. We have our internal records from when we, acquired the property. That would be greatly appreciated. And I guess we can work with our staff person offline in the intervening time. But I think we were struggling using the online resources, both tools for the city to find records, which is consistent with how old we believe the sign is. But if we could get a little guidance from them, we'd greatly appreciate it, as they did with the city of Yes. That was so helpful for us. So we really appreciate staff jumping on that and helping us with that. So thank you.
The sign has been there going all the way back to 2007. If it's an illuminated sign, wouldn't they be paying illumination fees to Department of Finance? Might there be records there, illuminated sign?
Yeah.
Registration record? So it might be helpful to inquire or look on the Department of Finance website on the accounts and billing, where there might be illuminated sign fees. It won't attest to the dimensions, but perhaps you could cobble together your proof of its legality with a combination of your Google Street View and proof of payment of your illuminated sign fees, perhaps, going back historically. That might help you. It looks as if it has not changed dimension. The only difference is that now that lower part that was once yellow is now white, which just makes me think it was just replaced in kind at one point.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Commissioner Cleveland. We are here to help where possible.
Thank you.
All right, so Commissioners, do you want to close it?
They haven't shown the reservoir spaces. I don't think we.
Oh, they haven't shown the reservoir spaces. Okay, so unfortunately, we do need to see the revised plan to see it being, see it comply with the reservoir space and the landscaping. So that's why we cannot close it. So we have to see those. So we will schedule this for September 9th. Does that work for you?
Yes, that's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. And if you have any questions, please do reach out to the project manager so that we can respond to some of them. No, but because the plans need to be revised, they need to show the reservoir spaces and the landscape. Yeah. I would say. Okay, so this is a good question that's been raised. So this is an SOC application for a drive-through facility pursuant to 73-622.
73-240.
Sorry, 73-622 is a different case, 243. So as you may know, very recently, a zoning for economic opportunity was adopted. And as part of that, there were some changes that came into place specifically related to drive-through facilities. And so this is a question while the 73-243 allows up to 5-year term, the new drive-through facility 73311 permits up to 10 years. However, there are some added findings associated with it. And should the applicant want to pursue under the 5-year term, then we leave the application as is. Should the applicant want to consider a 10-year term, then the applicant should reach out to our office to discuss how that can be facilitated.
If a 10-year term is being sought for this drive-through pursuant to zoning for economic opportunity, an application must be made under 73-311 to permit the board to grant such a 10-year term. Given that you are in the middle of an SOC application for an extension of term of a previously granted special permit use, to benefit from the new application and revising and filing.
Can you restate that? You cut off for some reason. I so apologize.
We can guide you and assist you in how to amend your materials to revise the ask to seek a new special permit under 73-311 as opposed to a renewal of the term granted under 73-243.
It's
Okay,
your,
Yeah, I will take a look at 311 and then we will talk with staff. I think the extra time would be wonderful, but in concept, but let's make sure we fit all the criteria.
Yeah, Mr. Alexander, you can reach out to myself and the project manager and Chase Vine, and we'll be happy to set up something maybe later this week just to go over what the requirements are and what the options are.
That's wonderful. Thank you. And we really appreciate that suggestion.
okay. Thank you, Mr. Alexander.
Have a great rest of your day.
Next item, item number 14, 2017-266 BZ, Volume 2,
Sorry.
2303 Avenue K, Brooklyn.
Okay, that would be.
Vera Altman.
Vera.
I see her. Ms. Altman, you've been added to the panel.
Good morning. Good afternoon. Raise your right hand. You affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to the board member questions.
Of course.
Please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session.
Good afternoon, Lara Altman from the Law Office of Lara Altman, and I believe you were satisfied with the review session.
Yeah. All right, if not any questions or comments, let's go to the public.
The case we're currently discussing is 2017-266 BZ, Volume 2. Should you wish to discuss, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you will enter the webinar ID number 160-896-6606 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt, you will press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you will press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute if you're calling in on the phone in order to be heard. And if you're in the Zoom room already and waiting, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you're recognized, you will have 3 minutes in which to discuss. No raising the hands.
Okay, make a motion to close.
Chair Shanda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll schedule this for decision on August.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, new cases. Item number 15, 93882 BZ, 2470 East 16th Street, Brooklyn.
Hi, me again.
Is anyone with you, Ms. Fullader?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Okay, so let me write this down. Raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do. Thank you so much.
Please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session.
Elise Fullader from Eric Palatnik, PC. Thank you so much for your comments. I will go through them now. Okay, first, thank you for pointing out when our photographs were taken. We will use that as proof of continuous use. I do have to say, though, that since in the past few months, not for over a few months, the building has been closed because they're waiting to get approval from your board to open up the new business. So when the old business closed, the new business didn't take over yet. So next question, it does operate, and I will clarify this, from 9 to 5 from Monday through Friday as a professional office. So a normal Monday through Friday schedule.
Okay, so the statement of fact just says it will be 9 to 5. It
So
didn't.
I'll put in Monday to Friday. For signage, I can share the plans if you want, but if you look at the last page, it says that they're gonna change the signage for the new business, and it says it will not be more than 150 square feet of non-illuminated signage in a, boxed area. On the last page in the notice of comments, we added that.
Oh, okay, I see. It's on the building surface.
Yeah.
Okay. Not to.
Oh, I should change, I need to tell them though, it says I have to say non-illuminated.
So is it going to be illuminated or
No,
non-illuminated?
not illuminated. I think that's a typo. I'm just seeing it now, sorry.
Would say better would be just put a note somewhere on the note. This way, if your signage floats anywhere within that frontage, you're not holding to, you're not stuck with
Okay,
that.
yeah,
Put a note on the drawing saying that whatever the proposed non-illuminated side shall not exceed more than.
yeah, that makes sense. We will correct that, thank you. And make it less, this is where it'll be. And then another question was about, I can again share my screen if you want, and it's harder to see on there's like trucks parked on the street, so it's harder to see the trees, but there's 3 large trees. If you look at photographs from go on Zola, and you can see from March 2024, there are 3 large trees. I can share that photograph in a submission, but also we can show where those 3 trees are planted on the plans, on the plot plan. Maybe that would answer that question.
That would be helpful. Thank you.
I spoke with the owner and he's more than happy to do a coat of paint and stripe the parking spaces. He says it'll take approximately 2 weeks to do that. So that is no problem, and we can submit photographs. Also, I know this question was kind of dismissed because we have the number of parking spaces needed, but he did say that not all employees come at every single moment in time, but also not everybody drives to work. So the 6 parking spaces does work in this location because not some people are taking public transit.
Thank you.
Also to stripe the parking spaces.
Yeah, he'll paint the building and stripe the parking spaces. And both of those items should take about 2 weeks to complete. And then I will correct the statement to say that it is extending the term for a variance rather than a special permit. Sometimes copy language that is weird from other time periods.
All right. Any other questions or comments? Let's then go to the public.
So the case we're currently discussing is 93882BZ, 2470 East 16th Street, Brooklyn. Should you wish to discuss, dial 669-254-5252. You will enter the webinar ID number 160896-6606 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt, you will press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you will press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute if you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already and wish to participate, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you're recognized, you will have 3 minutes in which to discuss. Should have that on a recording.
How long will it take for you to make these improvements? You said it'll take 2 weeks to plant and make all the corrections.
Yeah, there's no planning necessary. We just have to show you the planning. Okay.
Painting.
Yeah, painting and striping, yeah. And again, if it's possible to close it and then show you those items, I don't know, but that is what?
You read my mind.
If it, I understand if it's not, but if it is, I really appreciate that. But I also forgot to say during the hearing, we will double check the use groups and update them accordingly, because I know that's on every application.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I will make the recommendation to close. The only thing is that will you be able to get this done by the August 12th hearing? Do you think you can get it done, get the painting done by August 12th?
Between you and me, I shouldn't say this. I'm going on vacation in the next 2 weeks. I'm doing this here and then I'm going on vacation. And I don't want to call up from vacation. I'd rather give them a few extra weeks to get it done.
For September.
Yeah.
Motion to close.
Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Thank you.
Well, enjoy your vacation.
Thank you. I just, try to get it in between hearings.
Remove.
Is that what it is?
It's not. It's not.
This is not the one? Okay.
No, I'll do that another time.
Okay. Item number 16, 36203 BZ4, 428 West 45th Street, Manhattan.
This would be
Maybe I'm gonna send him an email.
Alexia.
Alexia Landitzman?
That's the only person I see from that office.
Yeah. Does she have the art? Do we need an architect? No. Right. Who's Joe with? It's probably for these.
Is she in? There she is.
Yes.
Good afternoon. It's just me today.
Okay.
Okay,
Go ahead.
raise your, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, good. Go
Okay,
ahead.
raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to the board member questions?
I do.
Please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and Commissioners. My name is Alexia Landisman. I'm here from Sheldon Lobel PC on behalf of the applicant. We have attended the executive session and want to address the board's comments. The first comment was in regards to the community board. We actually did present to the community board, and the community board district manager emailed Vinroy, I believe on Friday, with a unanimous approval of the application. And we can just resubmit that if the board doesn't have it in their files. The second comment was with regards to the violations, and as Commissioner Yoon said, we've included in the statement that the existing violations are for the properties, the other properties that are on the zoning lot, and those are being addressed, but the driveway itself and the parking lot does not have any violations in association to it. Sorry. And then I believe there was a request to clarify the shed and the square footage of the shed. We will resubmit the zoning analysis, the statement, and the plans to all have a accurate zoning square footage for the shed, and we'll resubmit that to the board, as well as the use group. We'll notate the new use group on the submitted plans. And with that, I believe those were all the outstanding comments. And so if that's all, we were hoping to close today so we can resubmit that before decision.
We do need to see the plan to make sure it is complying. So, I don't think I can close for that reason, but we'll schedule it for September, if that works.
Okay. If we can, sure. So we can actually get the plans sorted within the week. We can resubmit that. So as soon as possible, if we can close, I think the client is eager to get the CO.
Understood. We will, I would say you have enough time to make those corrections and revise all the documents accordingly. And then we will schedule this for September 9th and we can vote it out the following week, no, following September. How does that sound?
It sounds great.
Okay.
All right.
Public. All right, let's go to the public.
So the case that we're currently discussing is 36203 BZ Volume 4, 428 West 45th Street, Manhattan. Should you wish to discuss, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you will enter webinar ID number 1608966606 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt, you will press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you will press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute if you are calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already and wish to participate, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized, you will have 3 minutes in which to discuss.
Okay. Ms. Landesman, I think the schedule that I laid out would be contingent upon a complete, thorough completion of submission of all the information.
Okay, that's great. So we can submit it within the week with the revised plans, just clarifying the square footage and the use group. And then I'll just stay tuned to hear from Vinroy on the next scheduled hearing.
Yeah, okay. Right. Great. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Oh, and I'll also amend the statement to reference passenger vehicles
Yes.
for
Yeah.
Chevette's comment.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Next item, appeals calendar, new cases. Item number 17, 2024-16A, 61 Mural Street, Staten Island.
This would be again,
Elise Fullader. Okay, you don't have to,
Has her hand raised. I don't know.
Ms. Prenga has her hand raised.
sorry, thank you,
Sure,
Elise.
that's Mrs. Pregnant.
I think that has been right, Bell.
Just wanted to tell you that I haven't yet the,
Hold on one moment. I apologize.
What's going on?
Vinroy is using Jello's sign up.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
He does have something he wants to tell the board.
Yep, go ahead,
Go ahead.
Vinroy. This is regarding which case? The preceding case?
Vinroy, you have to unmute yourself.
Hi, he just verbally told me he does have a copy of the CB vote for the previous case you just heard. He just told me, but he can't unmute for some reason.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
sorry about that. Thanks.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you both. Go ahead, Ms. Fullader.
Let me recall the case,
Yep.
since we just had a discussion on 36203 BZ. Okay, the case we're currently discussing is 2024-16A, 61 Muriel Street, Staten Island. Ms. Fullader.
Yes.
You need to be sworn in.
You don't need to
It's
be
an
sworn in.
case.
Okay, forget. Thank you. Elise Fullader from Eric Palatnik PC. Thank you so much for your comments. I have David with me, who should be also on this call because he's key.
Yes.
So let him in.
Yes, I've let him in.
Okay, thank you. He is from the architect's office.
Okay.
Thank you, David.
Yes, hi, good morning.
Just state your name for the records and then you can speak.
Okay,
Melissa,
yeah, go ahead. David Moraes, architect.
Yeah, go ahead, David.
Okay, so I will go through the comments and then I will let David speak to them since he is working on the plans. So first, we heard your comment about sidewalks. David, if you'd like to share.
Right, so
information
we're currently having a draft BPP done, which will have the width of sidewalks. As it's shown on the plan right now, they are on Muriel, it's 5 feet. And then on Lunston Avenue, it's going to be probably the entire width to match up with the existing next door, which is like 7'8". So, but we will have a preliminary BPP in about 2 weeks that will have all those measurements on it.
Okay, great.
But it's a draft BPP, right?
Correct. Yep. Draft BPP.
Okay, just making sure they know it's not going to be approved yet. It's draft.
Yeah.
Okay, and then that answers the next question. Thank you. Parking spaces you can add, correct? Not a problem.
Right. So the portion of the site, I guess, to the north that's open behind the building that faces Lunston, that area is going to be primarily used or underground, at least for the septic system, because this requires a septic system because there's no sewers. It was still undetermined if we were going to add parking there or not, and the requirements of where the curb cut's going to be, but that should be all ironed out with the client in about a week or two.
But there is a required parking and
There is required parking. It will be there. We're just not 100% sure exactly where the curb cut location is going to be yet.
So there would be a new curb cut that would have to be provided for this parking access?
For that parking area, correct. Yep.
All right. So your statement is you will have to provide parking and the parking would be in that area where the septic tank is. You haven't decided where the curb cut will be. Will it be on Lunston or the other street?
Right, yeah, that we haven't decided if it was going to be Muriel or Lunston yet.
Okay. All right.
We'll iron that out. And then next question was, like every other case, we will iron out the new use group and make sure that's consistent and put it in our cover letter what the new use group will be. And then I heard Commissioner Shabeta ask about including the statute of the GCL 36. So we can add that to the statement. Not a problem.
Thank you.
So I have just a question. Couldn't that same curb cut that you're using for parking be used to access the buildings? That we eliminate the need for 2 curb cuts?
Well, yeah, currently the curb cuts we're showing access, loading berths inside the buildings. So there's no, on Muriel Street side. So those curb cuts are going directly into the building and there's no driving area to maneuver to that other portion of the site.
All right. So in your draft BPP, you will need to also show that final resting spot for the curb cut that will access the required parking spaces.
Yes, correct. Yep.
All right. Any other questions or comments, clarification? Let's go to the public.
So the case we're currently discussing is, sorry, 2024-16A, 61 Muriel Street, Staten Island. Should you wish to discuss, dial 646-669, 254-5252. At the prompt, you will enter the webinar ID number 160-896-6606 and press the pound sign. At the prompt after that, you will press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you will press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute if you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already and wish to be heard, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized, you will have 3 minutes in which to discuss.
Okay, how much time would you need to revise the plan? Because right now we are looking at an incomplete set of plan. We would need a complete set of plans with the parking and curb cuts.
Yeah, I would say about 2 weeks.
Okay,
We still need fire department, right?
yeah,
And we still need a fire department. Mhm.
yeah. Yes, Chief Daly.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So once the builder's pavement plan has been submitted to your office, if Elise could just CC me on the submittal so I can review it right away and provide comments.
No problem.
Thank you.
Okay.
It will be though, David, correct me if I'm wrong, but it will be a draft BPP that we're submitting, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
Right.
Just letting everyone know.
Right, yes. Okay. All right, did we call the public?
7 seconds to go.
7 seconds to go, okay. Right, so this will need to be scheduled for continued hearing, most likely in September, either the early part of September or second part of September, depending upon how quickly you're able to make all of your submissions.
Understood.
Okay,
Item number
Thank you.
18, I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Thank you, sorry. Item number 18, 2024-17A, 35 Marjorie Street, Staten Island.
Elise Fullader again, from Eric Palatnik PC, and I'm here with David Maurice again. David, we'll go
Right.
through the
Yep.
comments. Some of them are similar from before. So, again, if you want to speak on the sidewalks, I'm sure you'll add
Right.
them.
Yeah, so for the curb cuts, we are going to reduce them to 2 curb cuts entering the site, entering the parking lot area. From 5 down to 2, 1 on each side. We will submit a new plan for that. As for the sidewalk and curb, we have a preliminary BPP currently, and the sidewalk is going to match the adjacent sidewalk from 484 Sharretts Road, and it's 3.5 feet wide, and that will all be indicated on the BPP and my drawing as well.
And right, and also indicate the required parking spaces on the side.
Yes, we will do that as well. Yep.
And to answer, since you haven't seen the BPP yet, because we haven't finalized it yet, we do believe that we will have to improve the road in front.
Well, just hold on a second. We're getting a screeching noise from here.
From here? It's outside.
From outside.
Yeah.
Right, from outside.
Yeah.
Go ahead, proceed.
Okay. Back to an important point. We're going to have to improve the street in front of this one, which is something Chase had brought up at the end, or council had brought up at the end. So we will do whatever is required based on the fact that we are improving the street. I know that there's different requirements, so we wanted to bring that up.
Oh. Is that hold for the other one also? Okay, so in this, General Vine, General Counsel Vine is saying that you would need to submit an EAS.
Yeah, understood. I just wanted it to be on the record that we understand that, thank you, that if we're improving the street, that is the requirement.
Okay. All right, I think this also, I would say similar timeline.
Yes, and but with this one, we'll make sure to have the EAS submitted as well.
Okay. Okay, great. Any other questions or applicants, do you have any other questions? Chief Daly?
Just to be CC'd on any plans filed with the BSA. Thank you. Carbon copied.
Thank you.
Right.
Okay,
Public, yeah. The case that we're currently discussing is 2024-17A, 35 Marjorie Street, Staten Island. Should you wish to discuss, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you will enter the webinar ID number 1608966606 and press the pound sign. At the prompt after that, you will press the pound sign only. Once you are permitted in, press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute if you are calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized, you will have 3 minutes in which to discuss.
Okay, we'll schedule this also for September, same timeline as the previous one.
Thank you.
Just need to make sure we have enough room in the combined lineup.
End of September, end of September.
I guess you can let us know which September date works for your office. I know that I have a lot of cases on September 9th, so I can only imagine.
Yeah, we do have a lot of cases on September 9th. We may have to move this to the September 30th.
Understood. So we'll take whatever we can get and we'll,
Yeah.
let the-
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Move on?
you.
Yes.
Item number 19, 2024-29A, 292 Avenue C, Manhattan.
Okay.
Is this Devin Phillips?
Helen Coe. Should be Helen Coe.
Thank you, Ms. Brenda.
Do we have?
Helen Coe.
Oh, okay, wonderful.
So she is in
She is-
the attendee.
Yeah, I just made her panelist.
Okay, great.
Hi.
Ms. Coe, hi.
Good afternoon, welcome. Is there anyone else with you?
Yes, Devin Phillips is here on behalf of Parks, and Giuliano Giudici is also here as our applicant.
I don't see her in.
Who? Who on?
Devin Phillips.
Devin Phillips, I see.
And she said, repeat that name, please.
Giuliano Giudici. I can speak on behalf of everyone if he's not on the
Giuliano.
call.
Yeah, we have let Phillips, Devin Phillips. In, yeah.
Okay, please unmute Mr. Phillips and your photograph. Sorry, video, please. Okay.
Mr. Phillips?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm calling in from my phone where I'm home, but my desktop computer in the office is the camera that you'll see because I have the audio from my cell phone.
If that's an issue, I can just speak on behalf of everyone for this application.
It's fine. Go ahead, Ms. Coe.
Hi, so good afternoon. I'm Helen Koh, the project manager from DDC. Just wanted to say thank you to all the commissioners. Our team was very happy and relieved to hear that the board seems generally satisfied with our application and the completeness of it. DDC and Parks are, as city agencies, we want to just be as cooperative and open as possible, and that we're responding to all your concerns. So I'm glad to hear that our application met your standards and all of the complimentary reviews. For the comments and questions we had, I will try to address each one. The first one I have here is that, is this emergency response plan in effect? It's not currently in effect, but it will go into effect once the building is constructed. This emergency response plan is unique to kind of address the specific conditions of this particular Parks building type and the fact that it's located within the East Side Coastal Resiliency project limits. But I also want to note that Parks has over like 600 public restroom buildings, and they're taking inventory of their existing public restroom buildings to determine if this plan will also be applicable to the existing ones they have as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. For the next question, there was one about the monitoring and notifications by kind of other entities, such as the local fire or police station. At this time, we do not have a process in place for other types of notifications. We do feel fairly confident that with the National Weather Service, and this is also something I will add to our statement of facts and findings, I didn't add it this time, but also that we will also be monitoring the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, so the NOAA. And third, the other triggering event would be the Eastside Coastal Resiliency Project, which is a pretty comprehensive plan in place just by the extent of how big the project is. And so we will also have sufficient warning from their project when they deploy. And so considering all this, we feel that there's sufficient coverage on notification of any potential hazards.
Thank you.
There was also a comment about a discrepancy in our language about the flood vents and the water being about what was it, within as opposed to around. And you are completely correct. That was a typo on our part. We will revise that language. I know it's used a couple times in the statement of facts and findings, but we will revise it. You're right that it should be that we allow the water to enter and exit without damage by incorporating these flood vents to equalize the hydrostatic forces. The other comment we had was about the section G304.1.2.1, item number 6 on certification. It is our understanding that we probably do need this modification of language because we are complying fully with ASCA 24, but because that technically without this waiver does not comply with code, we would need that modification of language by BSA approved to acknowledge that it's for this project. And that we're meeting ASCA 24 for this project.
I see, just for that specific part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's fine. That's fine.
Great, thank you. And then there was, I'm not sure if this is a question, but just to acknowledge it, that there was a comment about the flood resistant materials. For context, Parks has developed a public restroom type prototype, and so they all moving forward should be using this prototype, and by default as best practice, all of these prototypes, regardless of if they're in the flood zone, use flood resistant materials.
Okay. For my curiosity, is this like part of is this project going to be like implemented in the what's known as the Big U project around Lower Manhattan? Is this part is going to be integrated within that in the future?
I'm not aware of the Big U project. This is part of a bundle of other restroom buildings that Parks has sponsored, and they're located in parks throughout in 3 different boroughs. This is the only one though that falls within a flood zone of the bundle that we're deploying as part of this project.
I'm not talking about the restroom. I'm talking about the seawalls that's consisting of sheet piling and concrete on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
I was curious whether this is a part of the bigger project that's proposed to be constructed around Lower Manhattan, but that's fine. I get it. Thank you.
So yeah, I think as I understand it, this whole thing is part of the East Side resiliency, coastal resiliency. Is that the one that you're referring to, Commissioner Sheta?
Yes.
No.
I mean, there was a competition back like 10 years ago, and the
Correct.
one that won is called
Yes.
the Big U. That's an entire U around all of Lower Manhattan. I do believe it's part of it, but I think that's just like a larger concept that won
I think this
the
is
overall
one
RFP
concept
process. I think
Right.
it's just, but I do think it's part of the overall U from what I understand.
Yeah.
Our project is a separate project, but it's the East Side Coastal Resiliency Project is managed by DDC as well. So we do coordinate with the project team.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you. Any other questions or clarifications that we need? Let's go to the public. Okay.
Case that we're currently discussing is 2024-29A 292 Avenue C, Manhattan. Should you wish to discuss, dial 646. Sorry, why do I keep saying 646? 669-254-5252. You will enter the webinar ID number 160-896-6606 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt, you will press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you will press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute if you are calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already and wish to participate, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand in the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized, you will have 3 minutes in which to discuss.
We're just waiting for the clock to run out. Okay. Nobody called in. I want to thank both Ms. Coe and Mr. Phillips for participating in this discussion, and thank you for your application. I know our staff was also working with you along the side, so I'm happy to see a happy medium that we have reached on this project. So I want to make a recommendation that we close this project, and we will schedule this for decision on September 9th.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time as well.
Thank you for the thorough application we used as an example.
Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Thank you so much.
Right, thank you.
Thank you.
Case.
BZ calendar, new cases, item number 2024-20 BZ, 16736, 145th Avenue, Queens.
This would be Ron Rosati.
Ron Rosati.
You see, yes, I see him. His hand raised. I see Jacqueline Bellis and Michael Morgan.
I think they're for the other case, but the cases that are on for tomorrow. Yeah, I think she's on for the other ones tomorrow, but I'm not sure. Mr. Rosati?
Is Ron here?
Yeah, Ron's here.
Yes.
Hi. Raise
Hi.
your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do.
Please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session.
Yes, good afternoon, Commissioners, Madam Chair, Ron Rosati for the applicant. Regarding that side yard width study, that was created just to show that there were numerous lots in the immediate area that do have undersized side yards and that we are within neighborhood character. We could revise that study if you'd like to do a radius for all side yards within a specific radius if that pleases the board. If so, I'd ask that be a 200-foot radius if possible.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. Regarding a sprinkler, yes, the site will be sprinklered on sheet A100 on the top left where it says property data. The last item there says fire sprinkler system, and it does say yes next to it. So the building will be sprinklered. And lastly, regarding the community board, this was sent out to them in April. We didn't hear from them for the May hearing. I reached out to them sometime in mid-May. I didn't hear from them for their June hearing. Now they're on recess. They've had it longer than 60 days as per your rules. I don't know what the community board is doing or why they haven't scheduled anything for this.
Okay. It was sent out to community board when? In mid-May, you said?
No, when this was filed, which was at the end of April. So it could have been on their May or their June calendar.
Okay, all right. I would suggest reach out to them again and just try to see if you can have it scheduled in September.
Sure.
I'm just noting for the record that Commissioner Sheta is absent.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. All right. Okay, any other questions or comments? Let's go to the public.
So the case that we're currently discussing is 2024 20BZ 167-36 145th Avenue, Queens. Should you wish to discuss, dial 669-254-5252. And at the prompt, you will enter the webinar ID number 160-896-6606 and press the pound sign. At the prompt after that, you will press the pound sign only. Once you are permitted in, you will press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute as you are calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized, you will have 3 minutes in which to discuss.
Okay, Mr. Azadi, how long will it take for you to make that submission?
To update that side yard study a week.
Okay. Submission form. So the submission date for August 12th, 13th, hearing is July 25th. Would you be able to make it for that?
It's already passed. Wait.
Oh, it's already, oh God, my mind is off.
I'm telling you,
My
it's
mind
Monday.
is
It's the
totally
Monday.
off.
Yeah.
We're on
the Monday
29th
mush.
and I'm like, I'm trying to stall the clock. It's racing faster than my mind can think.
No, so, yeah,
Okay,
I mean, do
next week.
you want to give me?
Days are passed.
Yeah, I think it's okay. Let him submit by next week. This is the only document that we need and we
Okay.
don't need anything else. That should be sufficient. We should be able to review.
So August 1st week. Okay.
So please, so it's an August 1st submission or next week submission and the hearing August 12th or 13th.
Yeah, the hearing would be, as we schedule it, 12th or 13th.
Okay. Okay, and I'll submit that as soon as possible, hopefully within the next day or two.
Okay.
And congratulations again.
Thank you very much, and thank you for accommodating me today. Really appreciate that.
Is your second child?
Yeah.
Yes.
Valid. One and
Yeah.
one, boy, one girl.
Boy and a girl, yes.
So adorable. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Okay, this, so we're not doing anything else, no decisions or anything.
Nope,
Okay,
nope.
so this concludes the public hearing for July 29th, 2024. Thank you, one and all. Just for those people who are still left in the room, if you did not hear your case, Ms. Velez and Mr. Morgan, they are on for tomorrow for July 30th. I did email the agenda to all applicants, so you should be aware of that. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.